Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know. First, YouTube's new Deepfake tool requires creators' biometric data, sparking fears it's being used to train Google's powerful AI models. Today, we'll take a closer look at this protection for data trade-off and its implications for creators' digital identity in the AI era. Second, the Bank of England warns of an AI.com-style crash as tech giants' debt-fueled spending nears $5 trillion using Nvidia chips as collateral. We'll analyse why this AI gold rush is a turning point for financial regulators and how it could affect global markets and pension funds. Third, SoftBank's Masayoshi Son sells $5.8 billion in Nvidia shares, making a massive bet the company pivot to fund OpenAI and build a rival AI stack. So we'll discuss why this high-stakes pivot from hardware to AI models matters and what it means for the future of AI value creation. Fourth, Taiwan indicts a Japanese tech giant under its National Security Act for the first time, alleging theft of TSMC's critical 2-nanometer chip secrets. In this episode, we'll break down this unprecedented legal move and what it signals for global tech companies operating in the semiconductor ecosystem. Fifth Gen Z is pivoting to skilled trades like plumbing and welding, fearing AI will decimate white-collar jobs and make university degrees obsolete. We'll explore how this youth-led trend could transform the labour market and what it means for the future of entry-level professional careers. YouTube is offering creators a new weapon to fight AI deepfakes. The price? Your face, literally. The company is rolling out a likeness detection tool to its millions of creators. To use it, you must upload a government ID and a biometric video of your face. In exchange, YouTube will scan its platform for unauthorized deepfakes of you. And this protection for data trade-off isn't unique to YouTube. We're seeing Meta at the same time using facial recognition to protect about 50,000 public figures from ad scams, while TikTok's terms of service give it a broad, royalty-free, worldwide license to use your image and likeness however it wants. It's a trend across the industry, but experts are sounding a massive alarm. By signing up, creators are tied to Google's privacy policy. That policy states public content, including biometric information, can be used to help train Google's AI models. And this goes way beyond just your photos. It's about free labor. A recent McKinsey report estimated that generative AI could add up to $4.4 trillion to the global economy annually. Much of that value is built on data provided for free by creators who are essentially an uncompensated workforce training these multi-trillion-dollar systems. So the very tool designed to protect you could be feeding your most personal data, your verified facial scan directly to Google to build even more powerful AI. Experts who raised concerns months ago say the risks are enormous. One CEO, Dan Neely, delivered this stark warning. Your likeness will be one of the most valuable assets in the AI era, and once you give that control away, you may never get it back. What really complicates this is the massive gap between protecting your face and, say, protecting a song. YouTube has a robust content ID system for copyrighted music and video, but nothing similar exists for your likeness. The issue is that copyright is a federal law, but your right of publicity, the right to control the commercial use of your face, is a messy patchwork of state laws. This legal grey area makes it incredibly difficult for creators to enforce their rights, and it benefits platforms that want to avoid the complexity. This isn't a future problem, it's happening now. Creator Dr. Mike, a physician with over 14 million subscribers, uses the tool to fight deepfakes of himself promoting bogus supplements. He says seeing his likeness used to trick people scared everything about me. Now get this, Google's AI video generator VO3 is already trained on a subset of the more than 20 billion videos on YouTube. This new tool could give them something even more valuable, verified biometric data tied to an identity. Scraping public videos is one thing, but getting a biometric scan that is verified with a government ID is the strategic gold of the AI era. It allows AI models to connect a face not just to an image, but to a confirmed real-world identity, making the AI vastly more accurate and powerful. YouTube told CNBC it has never used this specific data for AI training and is considering ways to make the in-product language clearer. But the company also confirmed it will not be changing its underlying policy. So the thing is, this internal conflict between public promises and private data needs is happening across big tech. Microsoft, for example, has made strong public commitments that customer data from its Azure AI services is not used to train its models, but it's a constant battle between privacy teams and data-hungry AI divisions. The conflict is clear, and experts are warning creators that a tool offered for their protection may come at the cost of their most valuable asset, their own digital identity. From the data that fuels AI, we now turn to the money that funds it. The Bank of England is officially sounding the alarm. The AI gold rush could end in a dot-com style crash. In a new report, the central bank warns of a potential sharp correction in the value of major tech firms, stating that US equity valuations are reminiscent of those right before the dot-com bubble burst. A while back, we tracked the AI land grab and the capital expenditure arms race. The latest development is that regulators now see that same race as a systemic risk. The numbers behind this warning are staggering. The bank says AI sector growth will be fueled by trillions of dollars in debt, with projected spending on infrastructure set to top $5 trillion. We previously noted that the giants were largely funding builds with cash flow. Today's warning adds a new layer. Beyond headline profits, the wider build-out is increasingly debt-fueled. Believe it or not, we're seeing a borrowing spree unlike anything before. In 2025 alone, major tech firms like Alphabet, Meta, and Microsoft issued around $190 billion in investment-grade debt, nearly double the previous year. And with that money, lenders are getting creative. In one case, a company called CoreWeave secured a massive $2.3 billion loan by using its stock of valuable Nvidia computer chips as collateral. They are literally borrowing against the hardware that powers the AI gold rush. As we flagged a while back, Nvidia's own CEO warned that when Blackwell ships in volume, you couldn't give hoppers away. That's the depreciation knife's edge. If collateral ages faster than expected, loans backed by it can sour fast. The core conflict is clear. If the value of these high-flying AI companies falls, the report warns that losses on all that lending could trigger serious financial stability risks. And this isn't a lone voice in the wilderness. JP Morgan's chief executive, Jamie Dimon, has gone on the record saying he is far more worried than others about a serious market correction in the coming years. However, the situation isn't a perfect parallel. The bank's governor, Andrew Bailey, admits that unlike the dot-com era, today's AI giants have positive cash flows. They aren't just created on hope. As we've discussed before, that's a real shift from the dot-com fiber build-out, and he's right about that. The difference is stark. Back in the 90s, companies were burning through cash with no profits. Today, a company like Nvidia has a market cap that soared to over $4 trillion. But this brings both benefits and comes with inherent risks. The market has become incredibly concentrated. The top 5 biggest tech companies now account for nearly 30% of the entire S&P 500's value, even more concentrated than it was at the peak of the dot-com bubble. We previously analysed how record capital expenditure and user capture were consolidating power. Today, the focus shifts to what that consolidation means for indices and pensions. So the danger isn't that the whole sector is worthless, but that if one or two of these giants stumble, they could pull the entire market down with them. But he immediately follows with a critical warning: it doesn't mean to say everybody is going to win. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn, because to understand the potential crash, you have to look at the AI industry's different layers, what experts call the value stack. You have the chip makers like Nvidia at the bottom, the companies building the big AI models like OpenAI in the middle, and all the apps we use at the top. The big question is, where will the value end up? A potential trigger for that sharp correction, the bank fears, is the rise of powerful, free, open source AI models. Imagine if a free model comes out that's just as good as the expensive proprietary ones. The value of companies built on closed source tech could plummet overnight. That's the kind of sudden shift that could cause a violent reshuffling of winners and losers. He points to the escalating battle between giants like Google and Nvidia as proof that even at the top, not everyone can come out ahead. As we flagged before, even with Google cranking their spend forecast to $93 billion and warning that next year will be even more intense, there are real bottlenecks, power constraints at data centers, and supply chain limits on specialized networking and cooling. If growth stalls on those constraints while leverage builds, fragility rises. While the titans of tech battle for dominance, the bank's report connects this high-stakes drama back to the real world. A drop in share prices directly threatens the value of people's savings and pension funds. And there's a policy twist. This warning lands alongside plans to reduce capital requirements for high street banks to stimulate lending. As this plays out, the same report confirms that 3.9 million mortgage holders are expected to refinance at higher rates by 2028, with the typical owner facing a significant jump in their monthly bills. Speaking of the immense value concentrated in chip makers like Nvidia, one of the world's most famous tech investors just made a move that has everyone talking. SoftBank founder Masayoshi Son just admitted something you almost never hear from a billionaire investor. He was crying when he sold his company's shares in Nvidia. And this wasn't just a small sale. SoftBank offloaded its entire stake in the chip giant for a staggering $5.83 billion. Son said he didn't want to sell a single share, but he had no choice. This wasn't just profit taking, it's a massive strategic shift. For years, Nvidia has been seen as the ultimate picks and shovels play in the AI gold rush. But SoftBank is betting that the real long-term value isn't in the tools, but in the gold itself, the AI models and applications. They're moving up the value chain. We previously analysed how the demand side is finally showing up in a big way. Think 9-figure annual deals with OpenAI, because building a frontier model now costs 9 figures just to train. That 2-watt AI economy we talked about is exactly the backdrop for Son's shift from selling shovels to owning the mine. So why sell one of the hottest stocks on the planet? He needed the cash for an even bigger gamble, going all in on the future of artificial intelligence. The money is being funneled into massive new AI ventures, including a huge bet on OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, and ambitious data center projects like Stargate. Son has even predicted that OpenAI will one day become the most valuable company in the world. A few days ago, we mentioned OpenAI's push to control more of the stack. Today's move says SoftBank doesn't just want exposure to that ecosystem, it wants to be a core pillar inside it. And if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. It's not just about software. SoftBank also acquired a company called Ampere Computing for $6.5 billion. Their goal is to build a vertically integrated AI powerhouse, creating an alternative to Nvidia's hardware for their own massive projects, like the planned $500 billion Stargate AI data center initiative. Continuing our last discussion about vertical integration and friend-shoring, this slots neatly into the trend: bring critical AI manufacturing closer to home, control more of the physical layer, and reduce dependency on a single chip vendor. Owning more of the stack is one way to manage that knife's edge risk. This is a high-stakes pivot, selling a proven winner to back a future technology. And it's important to remember who is making this bet. Masayoshi Son is known for his history of both incredible wins, like his early investment in Alibaba, and spectacular failures like WeWork. The Vision Fund he controls has reported losses in the tens of billions of dollars. And to fund this new AI push, SoftBank's own leverage ratio has more than doubled, jumping from 8.4% to 18.0%. This is not just a bet, it's a bet the company moment. Now, here's where it gets interesting. That bet is already showing signs of a massive payoff. SoftBank just reported its second quarter net profit more than doubled to $16.6 billion, a surge driven by valuation gains in its OpenAI holdings. A while back, we said the bridge from outsized AI spend to durable cash flow would be big enterprise demand. This pop in value from OpenAI exposure rhymes with that thesis. Supply has been built and the demand side is arriving. But with many in the market screaming about a potential AI bubble, Son is firing back. He went on the record saying that those who talk about an AI bubble are, in his words, not smart enough. He's not just dismissing critics, he's making a colossal prediction. Son believes that super artificial intelligence and AI robots will eventually generate at least 10% of the entire global gross domestic product, a figure he says will far outweigh the trillions of dollars being invested today. Now, is that 10% number just hype? The situation presents a fascinating duality. On one side, you have analysts like those at the McKinsey Global Institute who believe generative AI could add up to $4.4 trillion to the global economy annually. That's a massive number that supports Son's optimism. On the other, respected economists like Darren Acemoglu are far more cautious, predicting AI might only boost GDP by about 1 to 1.5% over the next decade. The truth is, nobody knows for sure, but Masayoshi Son is betting trillions that his vision of a super intelligence economy is the one that comes true. From high-stakes bets on the future of the AI stack, we now turn to the fierce battle to protect the technology's very foundation. A corporate crime case has just been escalated to a matter of national security in Taiwan. Prosecutors have officially charged the Taiwanese unit of Japanese tech giant Tokyo Electron, a key supplier to the world's most important chip maker, TSMC. This isn't just a fine or a lawsuit. It's the first time a company has ever been indicted under Taiwan's National Security Act for the alleged theft of national core critical technology. By invoking its National Security Act, Taiwan is sending a crystal clear message to the world. It's signaling a massive shift where corporate espionage in a critical sector like semiconductors is no longer just a business problem. It's viewed as a direct threat to the state. This is Taiwan treating its chip technology like a strategic military asset, and it puts every global tech company on notice. The target of the alleged theft was the crown jewel of the semiconductor world, trade secrets for TSMC's 2nm process, its most advanced and valuable chip technology. To give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, the research and development for 2nm technology is worth billions. When it enters mass production, analysts project that a single 2nm wafer from TSMC could be priced at around $30,000. This technology alone is expected to generate tens of billions in revenue for TSMC in its first couple of years. This isn't just a trade secret, it's the key to a kingdom. The story begins with a former TSMC employee who, after joining Tokyo Electron, allegedly conspired with his old colleagues to steal information. You see, the hyper-competitive semiconductor industry creates immense pressure. Insiders can be motivated by huge financial offers from rivals, but often it's also about professional grievances or feeling undervalued. Attackers then use social engineering tactics, exploiting personal relationships and trust built over years to turn colleagues into informants. It's a reminder that the biggest security vulnerability is often human. The alleged motive? To help his new employer, Tokyo Electron, win more business from his old one, TSMC. And the unique vulnerability here, Tokyo Electron isn't a direct competitor to TSMC, it's a critical supplier of equipment. This is what experts call a co-opetition relationship, a mix of cooperation and competition. This trust-based partnership creates unique blind spots where a company might share sensitive information with a partner, never suspecting it could be used against them. But this is where the story takes a massive turn. Prosecutors aren't just going after the individuals, they've now charged the entire company unit. The reason? A damning conclusion from investigators. They state that Tokyo Electron, apart from some general internal rules, lacked evidence of concrete preventive or managerial measures to stop the crime. Prosecutors determined the company failed to take necessary steps to prevent the offence and must now bear corporate criminal liability. If convicted, the unit faces a fine of up to 120 million Taiwan dollars. But that fine is only about 3.8 million US dollars, a tiny fraction of the billions in value we just talked about. This huge gap between the value of the technology and the penalty raises a serious question. Is a fine this small just the cost of doing business for industrial espionage? The real impact here isn't the fine, it's the precedent. In the global battle for tech supremacy, Taiwan has just drawn a new line in the sand. Corporate espionage involving critical technology is no longer just a business dispute, it's a national security threat, and entire companies can now be held accountable. While governments are escalating the fight to protect the secrets of the high-tech world, a surprising trend is emerging. The next generation seems to be running away from it, straight towards plumbing, carpentry, and welding. The reason? A growing fear that white-collar jobs are on the chopping block. For instance, a new survey shows 1 in 6 employers in Britain expect to use AI to reduce their headcount in the next 12 months. One expert at King's College confirms there's a lot of anxiety among young people that their jobs will be automated away. A while back, we talked about PwC openly questioning whether it would keep hiring the same volume of graduates in an AI Jeffers world, the kind of signal that trickles down fast to school leavers. So they are making a strategic bet on so-called future-proof careers. They're ditching the traditional university path and flooding into skilled trades. One London college has seen enrolment in its construction and engineering courses jump by nearly 10% in 3 years. What seems to be happening is the rise of what some are calling the new blue-collar premium. Recent reports show a massive shift in Gen Z's thinking. One survey found that 55% are now considering a career in the skilled trades. And interestingly enough, social media is a huge driver, with 2/3 of them saying their interest grew because they saw authentic on the job content online. For the first time in nearly a decade, undergraduate enrolment at UK universities is actually falling. This isn't just a few students, it's a rational read of the market, a seismic shift driven by a desire to avoid university debt and secure a stable future. On a national level, this youth-led movement is unintentionally helping to solve the UK's massive skilled labour shortage, a problem that got a lot worse post-Brexit. While other countries are creating complex national strategies to retrain workers for AI, the UK is seeing an organic, market-driven solution emerge from the ground up. The core conflict is clear. What can a human do that a machine can't? As one 18-year-old plumbing student put it, no AI can do plumbing, no AI can do real engineering, no AI can be an electrician. Now, while that student has a point for now, the idea that these jobs are totally AI-proof is already being challenged. Companies are developing advanced robots as we speak. There's a robotic bricklayer called Hadrian X that can build the shell of a house, and autonomous systems that can operate heavy construction equipment. The big hurdle for AI is dealing with unstructured environments, the messy, unpredictable reality of a real-world worksite. That's why a robot can't yet snake a drain in a 100-year-old house. But they are getting closer. This isn't just a feeling. Research shows AI-driven cuts are disproportionately affecting junior positions, making it harder than ever for young people to get a foothold on the career ladder. And this is critical because we're seeing the potential disappearance of the first rung on that ladder. Many entry-level white-collar jobs, the very ones that serve as a training ground for future leaders, are made up of repetitive tasks that AI is getting very good at. A recent study from the OECD found that nearly 1/3 of tasks in many occupations could be automated. This creates a systemic risk. How will companies cultivate their next generation of senior managers and experts if the traditional apprenticeship of a junior role simply vanishes? While some worry about their jobs being automated, this new generation is betting on the one thing AI can't replicate, getting their hands dirty. As one college CEO bluntly stated, sometimes plumbers have to put their hands down the toilet to unblock it, and I'm yet to meet a robot that does that for us. But what really brought this to a head is the final development. It's not just about running away from AI. The smartest vocational colleges are now teaching students how to use AI. They're creating an AI-augmented tradesperson who can use AI for diagnostics, use augmented reality for complex repairs, and run their business more efficiently. So the future isn't just about avoiding the robots. It's about becoming the person who knows how to command them.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.